Hello, everyone. There we are. Now we got the mic going. Welcome aboard on this wild ride here. Things have changed quite a bit since the last time we streamed.
Kept you waiting, huh? Well, I'm here, folks. How's it all going? It is your host, conductor of this wild ride, Demetrius Villa, and we are back. It has been crazy, hasn't it? Oh, boy. I hope you all like the music that I put on. I'll give you all just a bit of a good kick, a little bit there. Yeah, but like I say, folks, things are getting crazy. Now, I will say this. I was completely wrong about them invading. So, I mean, I guess that's something that I'm finally wrong about. But, you know, but they do this every year. So that was completely by surprise. I mean, they go ahead and amass a whole bunch of, stuff over there and say, leave us alone. And we say, oh, don't cross the red line. And then, nothing happens. But, hey, here it is. What did we just hear? Hey, I can put the... I'll put the playlist on public so you guys can hear that if you want. What did we just hear? A whole lot of songs from everything from good old punk rock. When punk rock still used to be actually punk rock, when it was still anti-war, and now everybody's pro-war all of a sudden. What the heck happened to everybody, huh? What happened? Everybody all grew up thinking that they're going to be rebels, and they just went toe in line with the same media. But yeah, inflation's going up, and everything is going nuts. Gas has been the highest it's been since ever. I mean, I remember the worst it was when I was going to college back when Biden was the vice president, and it was pretty bad. It was nearly $4 a gallon for my little Focus. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, I had a pretty good car, and it got me to school and back. But now with, driving to work, 20-something miles every day on the highway is a pain. And it's the highest it's ever been. And what our leaders are going to do? Electric cars. Electric cars for everyone. We'll get into that later. Everything else we're looking at... Let's see. We're looking at what's going on also over in Russia too. What all the sanctions have been doing with everything, and we're gonna take a look at. I guess they're not letting me look at. I'm not a robot. I'm right here. Let me see my articles here. There you go. Because the news media knows that we can't afford gasoline, and they still think that we can go ahead and pay for their advertising, even though they advertise on there anyway, with or without an ad blocker. I just go ahead and put everything on archive, so there. We'll look a little bit more about Brightline, and then we'll look at what you guys want to look at from there. Because things are going to get pretty hectic, folks. What is going on? Why is there shouldn't more passenger trains? Because the United States now wants us to get into a war. Now, I will say this. Some of you guys are not a fan of him. Some of you guys are. The tweet that Ron Paul said about once, Biden basically declared economic war against Russia, basically said, thank goodness it's time for the United States to let go and stop policing the world and start focusing on here, which is what we should be doing. I've been saying this for years. Okay, what is my official position on this? Because everybody keeps asking me, and I had to go ahead and mute somebody on Discord because they wanted to be a shill for one side. So I said I don't care for either side. Okay, they both suck. The Ukrainian government and the Russian government. Okay. What's going to be worse is going to be for the people. The Ukrainian people, okay, are going to suffer the most out of this. Okay, that's number one. All right, and the Russian people are getting pretty upset. Okay, because it's not their fault that their leader is doing whatever it is. But now the rest of the world wants to go ahead and ban Russian cats, Russian ballet. Like that's really going to help anybody. But hey, you know what? Can't let good things go to waste, right? So, hey, gotta get some contraband before they go ahead and give it. So, yeah. Oh, boy, because we're going to need it for this trip. We're going to need it, Because banning, every product that, normal people make in a country really fixes things, right? Because that's never happened before, right? When we've gone ahead and banned some products, and other countries went ahead and just plowed ahead. Makes you think, huh? Oh boy. So yeah, let's get started, and then we'll go ahead. We'll cover all the Russia-Ukraine stuff. We'll go through there, talking about all of that. And then we'll have some calls in, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the stuff over here, okay? Because I want to get the Russia-Ukraine stuff out of the way. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but it has to be talked about, okay? And I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, don't talk about politics, just stick to trains." No. This channel talks about politics too, okay? This is something I started because every other channel, well, not every other. I started going into politics, and then every other channel started to do that. Later on, but that was basically the one that started, because basically most of YouTube rail fanning was just rail fanning and advocating for trains. The minute I started going into politics, the minute I started pointing at who's doing what and who's doing this, and this guy is shilling for roads and this guy is doing that, then people started to change their mind, because you have to do it. So yeah, I was one of the first ones to do it. I'm not going to say I was the one behind it all, but I was definitely a big impetus to that. Okay. Yeah, and that's another thing about, I will say Wendover's video, even though Wendover just kind of just regurgitates whatever safe opinion and then goes ahead and blurts it out with his whole team of people. And look, that's fine, could I have done the same thing and, make a big YouTube channel? Yeah, but you know what, it's kind of my own little thing in a sense, but, at some point we have to start growing bigger, but I'm not going to be growing bigger just for the sake of growing bigger. This channel could have had 100,000 or 1 million subscribers by now. Yeah, I get it, but you know what? I'd rather grow slowly and grow with quality rather than grow big and start making daily videos of reaction videos. Oh, did you see this train meme? Did you see this train news? No, I'm not going to do that. Oh boy, yeah. But I will say one thing. We'll talk about trains. We're going to talk about trains right now. So Russia is bringing in an armored train. So they were bringing back armored trains for a bit, and I think there is a video over here somewhere, and this is the thumbnail of the video. So we'll look at a banned news channel talking about that. Let that play in the background. So yeah, and I have talked about this before, that because of the rail network that Russia has, because they have a really robust rail network, and so did the United States. Okay, we need to talk about, and I think I have been making a whole lot of just out of random thing, just making a video about why railroads are the kings needed for war. Okay, and just your whole country. Okay, because the United States, the biggest lie that everybody keeps bringing up about World War I and World War II and afterwards was that the United States built the interstate highway to move tanks and move equipment, just in case. No, that was a complete lie and a complete fabrication by the grifters and the shills trying to push for roads, trying to push for the automobile, etc. What in both wars, in both World War I and World War II, the United States government immediately requisitioned all the privatized railroads, okay, nationalized them for the duration of the war, and started moving, okay, 24/7 equipment, tanks, parts, planes, etc., all over the place. Okay, they did it by rail. They didn't do it by roads. They did it by rail. What did Russia do? Russia moved all their stuff by rail. They moved them up to the border. Okay, what was the first thing that Ukraine did? Ukraine blew up all their railroads leading into Ukraine. That's the first things they did. They blew up the railroads because they knew that if they had the railroads in, they would have been toast. Okay, but how's Russia invading? They're invading in through the roads. Okay, that whole BS saying that Russia is waiting for the snow to freeze. All the armchair generals on CNN and all the news. They have to wait for the permafreeze, so they can roll the tanks. They're rolling the tanks on the road, and even then they're still losing the tanks. Okay, so they're using the roads to invade. All right, so long story short, railroads let you invade other countries. Roads gets you invaded. Okay, so there we go. There we are. But yeah. Let's get some contraband here going. I still say the best balanced vodka by far. I'm not a fan of Svedka. I'm not a fan of Grey Goose. I think Grey Goose is way too dry. Russian Standard is just perfect for me. I'm not a vodka fan anyway. I'm very much more of a bourbon guy. But yeah, you guys have seen that. And of course, they're moving into there. We're not going to talk about, again, let's make it really quick, okay? Because there's lies going on both sides. And I'm just going to and finish this and get with it over here, okay? Putin, okay, is going to do what he's going to do, okay? Because he doesn't care, okay? And he's got all his oligarchs, a.k.a. the name that we give to lobbyists and entrepreneurs, only if they're in an Eastern European country. Not like we have our own oligarchs over here, okay? Because everybody keeps saying, like, oligarchs is some sort of special Slavic sort of sort of situation that happens there. It's not something that happens here in the United States. Oh, because democracies don't have quote-unquote oligarchs. Okay, that's definitely something over there, okay? Putin does, will go ahead and send in a whole bunch of people, no air support? That's a shame, that's him, okay? But Zelensky and the Ukrainian government is no better, okay? Zelensky is a literal actor, a literal comedian, okay? And people who are, completely full in have bought this whole thing, This is probably one of my favorite memes of this, if you guys have seen this. So Adam Kinzinger, high-ranking politician, or a pretty high-ranking politician in the United States, literally fell for a Sam Hyde meme. And not a one that, again, this is the problem. You know why we can't have good stuff in this country? Because our politicians are stupid, okay? They're stupid little puppets, right? This is why they'll go ahead and have committees to talk about things like the Hyperloop, to talk about things like little tube projects and stuff like that, and not talk about actual real stuff, okay? Or they'll go ahead and talk about electric buses, okay? Like we need more buses. The problem isn't changing the combustion or the power source of the buses. The problem is the bus. That's the problem. But Adam Kinzinger went ahead and fell for a Sam Hyde meme. And not even a good meme, because I was in the same thread when people were going ahead and making the Sam Hyde Goes to Kiev things. And there was a guy that made a very good, passable one. No, he fell for the crappy Photoshop one. So not even that, he didn't even fall for the good Photoshop. He fell for the crappy Photoshop. So that's stupid 1 and stupid 2. Okay? He fell for a literal Sam Hyde meme. Okay? So yeah, people this. Yeah, Laser Pig is pretty good. I like that channel. His video on that is pretty good. If you guys want, I'll give you some links and stuff like that. S2 Underground is a very good channel for just seeing unbiased information about what's actually going on, because nobody knows what the hell is going on. Both sides are completely lying. Okay, and then look at this. So on Israeli TV, look at this. We're just gonna go off the rails a little bit, guys. Okay, we're gonna have a little fun with this, even though yeah, it's war, it's terrible, it's awful, but you know what? You gotta lighten up. Even when because at the end of the day, there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, even if it's just the light at the end of the tunnel, could be sunlight and at the end of it, or it could be another train, a nuclear power train. So. There's two ways to lighten up and lose a little bit of mass, if you get what I'm saying. That's an atomic bomb joke. It's not funny, but it's pretty awful. But hey, well, literally on Israeli TV, they went ahead and... I guess that the media puts that Russia's the empire, but I don't think they're the Galactic Empire, don't you think? I mean, maybe they can't shoot or anything like that, but... That's literally a stormtrooper and a TIE fighter. Okay? This was on Israeli national TV. Okay? Speaking of... Here's the brave leader of Ukraine. It was just coincidental, right? Yeah, so PP piano playing president. That's that's on one side, and then let me see. Where's the where's As I just love the memes on both sides. I don't care for either side. Okay, I am not supporting either side. Okay, because every time a tank goes down, okay, one side goes, oh, we destroyed Vatnik tank, Slava Ukrainia, okay, and then it turns out to be a Ukrainian tank, or the Russians do the same thing. It's like, oh, we destroyed whole tank, ura, and it happens to be a Russian tank. Okay, both sides are lying. Just don't get too caught up in any of this. All right, until the fat lady sings, or until the small presidential manlet starts banging his parts on the piano, I guess. But hey, that's what it is. Okay, so let's go into what's going on. What does this mean for the world? Okay, because the leaders are not going to care. Okay, one is just sitting in a chair and sending people to die. The other one is sitting in a chair sending people to die. Okay, could this all have been avoided? Yes. Okay. This was something that happened back in 2014, and I've been following this for a pretty long time. My best friend is Ukrainian. He's been my best friend for a very long time. I dated a Ukrainian on and off for a very long time. Okay, so I definitely know a lot about the Ukrainian people, and I did a paper in international relations in college about the whole Maidan crisis and what was behind it, etc. Okay, so there's a lot of blame to go on both sides for this. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the people are suffering. Everybody is going to suffer. So what's going on in Moscow? Well, they're going back to 1945, and by 1945 they're going back to, I guess, the nickel, because that's basically what the ruble is worth nowadays. They're going back to the nickel fare, or the ruble fare, or, well, the nickel fare, I guess, would be the 500,000 ruble fare, I guess, in foreign exchange. I don't know how bad the ruble is. We're talking about the dollar is bad. The ruble has gone bad. So, Russians can't use Apple Pay or Google Pay to go ahead and swipe into the metro. And the Eastern Europe has beautiful metros. I mean, they are gorgeous metro systems. Okay, and they're not like the gates like you're going into a zoo or something like in New York. Or going into a prison system, an underground prison system like in New York, where they have the gates grating in through turnstiles like that. They have a normal system over there in Moscow. It's very similar to places like in the rest of Europe or in Japan or in Asia and stuff like that. They go ahead and tap their phone and go on through. But now they can't tap their phone, so now they have to go ahead and type in everything. So yeah, they can't do that now. So that's what Moscow, St. Petersburg, and other metros in Russia are looking like. And, it's not a good thing for them, honestly. They don't really have a choice in that. Whether the whole country literally votes 70% for Putin, or Putin just goes ahead and changes the voting records to say, oh, he won by 70%, which is better than winning by 102% like certain leaders do or something like that, But regardless, the average Russian citizen doesn't care either way. The average Russian citizen doesn't want war. Ivan's going to wake up in the morning in his commie block, go downstairs and go over his dirt road that has more potholes than the whole state of Ohio, and get to his train station, and then he figures out, oh, he can't go ahead and tap in with that because, Apple and Google went ahead and clocked him off. Okay? Which is kind of the issue when you go ahead and put your whole system based on one thing or the other. Like in Japan, what Japan has is their Passmo system, okay, or their it's an integrated system within the country itself, and you don't have to rely on anybody else to go ahead and do your own thing. So let's see, where's my card? There's my card. Yeah, Suica card. Okay, yeah, this is a Japanese company, Japanese card, Japanese system. Okay, that's and. You think now the Russians are going to do that now because, unfortunately, to the rest of the world, they're hated. They don't want them. I mean, even Russian cats are being banned. Okay, how bad can this get? Well, they started killing dachshunds in World War I in the United States because they were German dogs. So yeah, it can get pretty bad. So I won't be surprised if Russian sheepdogs and hounds start getting massacred by the dozens to support the war, which is, it's awful, On both sides, it's awful. Is war necessary? Absolutely. Could this have been avoided? Absolutely. That's my take on that. But while that's going on in Moscow, and I have put pictures. This is what's going on in Kiev, and I'm not gonna make a whole. I'm not gonna be a stickler about is it Kyiv or Kiev, is it Sneeds or is it Chucks. I don't care. I've always said Kiev. I'm gonna keep saying Kiev. Okay, it's Constantinople, not Istanbul. I don't care. All right. I'm gonna say what it is because half the time people are saying Dnipro or Dnieper, okay, and they get confused between the Russian-Ukrainian language. I don't know either language, okay. The only thing I know how to say in Russian is Privet da Niet do Svidania, okay. That's about as much as I remember now, okay. I'm pretty sure my Ukrainian ex-girlfriend talked a lot of crap about me behind my back in or whatever whenever in the clubs or anything like that. But hey, my fault for not knowing the language. But this is what's going on over there, and there's plenty of videos and stuff like that. But yeah, people are huddling down. Similar images like we've seen over in the UK during World War II, where everybody was hiding in the tube. Okay, and don't forget in Berlin, because people keep forgetting about that. When Berlin got firestormed to hell. Literally, people were getting caught in tornadoes of fire and stuff like that, melted alive in Berlin. It was absolutely terrifying what we did to that. Let's be honest. When I say we, I mean the United States government and plus the UK government, perfidious Albions. But hey, all's glad with our cousins across the sea. But that was kind of awful though what we did there. But hey. And hopefully, I did say this. Most likely, the Russians are going to leave it mostly intact. Because they don't want to destroy all the infrastructure. That's another thing. They're not going like we usually do, like in places like in Iraq, where we just completely level up things. They're trying, at least for now. We don't know what the heck they're going to do next, but they're at least trying to keep things intact. And they don't want to piss off the citizenry as much as they're pissed off now. But yeah, this is what's going on now. People are sleeping in trains. People are sleeping in platforms. And this is at least 10 days ago. There's newer pictures. People are still there. But yeah, this is what's going on right now. It's pretty sad to see this happening. And like I said. War is awful. Pray for the conflict to end conclusively with as little bloodshed as possible. How much of that is possible? Don't know. And my family has seen major conflict, and I know plenty of people who have suffered through war, who have gone through war. Okay, it's an unfortunate part of humanity. Okay, so for the people going over there now, thinking that they're going to do something, and become a mercenary now for either side, because that's been happening in the Donbass for a pretty long time. And people forget about that part of the war, okay? So there's a lot of blame on both sides, okay? War is a part of humanity. There are just wars. Is this one a just war? It doesn't seem like it, okay? Hindsight, maybe 20 years from now, if this... 2020. I said the word. But yeah, it's been an awful decade, and I told you it's going to get worse before it gets better, okay? And I hate being right. Okay, 99.9% of the time I'm right. Not like that last time where I said I was wrong. Unless the Putin shills want to construe it as they're not invading Ukraine. They are doing a special military operation, so it's technically not an invasion. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, this is what's going on right now. It's kind of sad. I don't know who this guy said, actually prayers are not powerful or meaning in any way. Okay, brainlit atheist. I don't care. Yeah, that's what's going on. It is pretty sad. Okay, so, but let's go into it. Let me see if I have some notes over here, because I do want to talk about stuff. So everything else that's going on, yeah. Cyber warfare has become a real deal, because there was cyber warfare going on. I believe the Belarus metro was also attacked as well and shut down. So let me see if I can bring up that article. And any other articles or anything else you guys want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to start the stage here in this Discord. That's an issue. Where's that? Start. There we are. I got so entrenched in YouTube, I really forgot to go ahead and start this up over on Discord. So there we go. For those of you on Discord, my apologies. We are here. No, we are not what rhymes with here. But hey, it's what it is. Yes, Amtrak get its money from Congress? Yeah, Amtrak gets a paltry sum from Congress that has absolutely nothing to help Amtrak. And Amtrak has no cojones to really ask for more. But yeah. Hacking is a real deal. That's what's going on. Let's see if we can bring up that article. Here we are. IT Army. Yeah, there it is. And people keep saying Russian GPS. Russia runs on GLONASS, not on GPS. That's a completely different system. It looks the same. It does the same thing, but it runs as a different thing. Okay, yeah. Ukraine's IT army targets Belarus railway network and Russian GPS. GLONASS, not GLONASS. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so that's this is a real thing. Okay, so imagine trying to get to work and you have absolutely no care or anything like that, and the trains are stopped. Okay, I mentioned this. Remember the Train of the Future documentary? I mentioned this was going to be a big deal. Okay, I hate being right, but this is going to be a big deal. This is going on to 5th generation warfare, okay? Welcome to 5th gen warfare, where anything can happen, okay? It is a weapon. Using sanctions is a weapon, okay? Because you're attacking resources. Using IT is a weapon, okay? Because you're attacking resources, all right? But that's the main thing going on, okay? Honestly, people think that this it's not an attack or anything like that. They're completely out of it. You can't be any more wrong. Okay, like what happened during World War II? Why did Japan bomb us? Well, we said nah, no more rubber, no more gas for you. Okay, and then what? We forget about it, and then we hear warnings about it, and then the government lets it happen. Because everybody forgets about that, about Pearl Harbor. Nothing new. Remember the Maine, right? So with the price of oil going up, everybody also thinks that, it's just gas that's going to go up. No, it's not just gas, okay? Everything goes up, okay? You know what the main product in plastics are? You know how much plastics we use, okay? Petroleum is the main product in plastics. So everything goes up in plastics, okay? Now farming is going to go up, okay? Everything is going to go up, okay? Now, you're going to be taxed 1 billion times over, okay? Transportation, okay? A lot of the materials used in cars are going to be plastics. A lot of the materials used in the chips, because the chip crisis is not going to work. Oh, and the chip crisis is going to get worse. I think, what is it? I think I have this over here. Okay, so Russia has 35% of palladium supplies in the world. So now we effectively cut up 35% of your palladium. Ukraine has about 90% of neon for laser gas in manufacturing of chips. Okay, so if you thought you were going to get a PS5, maybe wait for 2030, because you ain't getting one. That's, you wanted the 80s, you wanted the 90s, boom, we're back, the Cold War is back, except now it's a hot war. It is a hot war now, okay? But this is the issue. This is the problem, all right? And what's that going to do? Instead of trying to, I guess the intention of the Trump administration was to sort of bring Russia closer to its European roots. Now we've just pushed them back to their Eastern Mongolian roots over to China, and now they're we've effectively, instead of having sort of an alliance, we've now effectively kind of screwed ourselves over later on. But our politicians don't think, okay? They don't think. Because now China is going to really squeeze on us at some point. You don't think that they're not, because we've shot ourselves in the foot. And by we, I don't mean the American people. I mean the American oligarchs that have sent all the factories over to China, all the production over to China. Guess what? We haven't moved them over here. We haven't moved them over here in large numbers at all. Okay? So, yeah. That's that's not going to work. Okay, so now freight rail is going to get even more expensive. Okay, you think people were robbing trains pretty hard now? It's gonna happen even more. Okay, Escape from Tarkov is not just a real life PvP update in the state of Ukraine. It's gonna be coming over here pretty soon. Okay, how soon? Pretty soon. All right. So the black market's gonna go up. Other products. Russia's just gonna probably make their own products. Hey, happened in 1930s, 1940s Germany. So, by the way, if you guys are wondering why I have Fanta, excuse me, Fanta was made by the Germans after Coca-Cola cut them off. They basically had a whole bunch of random materials still stuck and left, and they said, well, we still got to make some soda. I'm like, hey, let's just put a whole bunch of leftover fruits and stuff like that, and there we go. We had they call it Fanta, source for fantasy, I guess. But yeah, look at the results. Okay, that's what I keep saying, because people keep, this and that, and theory, economic theory, and this. No, look at the results, guys. Look at the results. How is the country done? Okay, highest gas prices ever. Okay, inflation just keeps going up. Everything is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, and it's just something that's we can't stop it as normal human beings. Okay, so again, it's not just the gas. It's everything that petroleum products goes into, okay? It's also farming equipment. Food is going to get more expensive, okay? Where a lot of... I already mentioned this the last stream. Fertilizer has gone up a lot, about 120%, according to Texas A&M University, the study that they did back in, I believe, last year. But where a lot of fertilizer, nitrogen, comes from? Russia. Yeah. So now the food's going to get more expensive, okay? Oh... And you know what goes into all our food? Corn syrup. Yeah. We got you surrounded. Come drink your corn syrup. So yeah, that's gonna go up too. Every single thing basically in the United States, 95% of it uses corn syrup. Okay? This is what happens. When we don't have our own working infrastructure. This is what happens when we don't have our own production. This is what happens. Now we've effectively shot ourselves in the foot, broken our knees, and hit ourselves in the head multiple times. This is completely, utterly stupid what we have set ourselves up for. It is absolutely dumb. Okay? Sure, could the United States have gone and said something to... No, because we're completely weak. Okay? We just lost the 20-year war in Afghanistan. Okay? Think we're going to be able to take on Russia? They've taken, for everybody complaining that they haven't taken anything. They're going after a country that has gotten basically a whole bunch of free weapons, a whole lot of free manpower coming in. So yeah, and they've taken more land, apparently, I don't know, because they lie too, than we have in Iraq in the same time frame. Okay, Iraq, which was basically a country that was hermited off from the rest of the world, that was already in shambles after the Iran-Iraq war, and was even more defeated after Desert Storm. So that's not even a comparable thing, honestly. This is just what's going on. Yeah, so I mean, we can make fun of China, but China, what they've done is basically made their own country stronger. Okay, we can make fun of them for all we want. Make fun of the live leak videos of going over there. Children being blown up because they walked the wrong way on an escalator, or some Chinese manufacturing worker gets himself eaten by a machine. Or the gutter oil, etc. But hey, they have first-class transportation. They have more high-speed rail than all the world combined and doubled. All right? They have massive skyscrapers. Not that that's a great thing anyway. Industrial society and its consequences. But yeah, they have a crap ton of manufacturing. What was once our manufacturing. Okay? We could have had trains. We could have had all that, but we went ahead and sold it over to them. Yeah, we don't. Can we go on what else China has? That's the result of what happens when most members of Congress cannot stop insider trading. Okay, they can't stop insider trading with Chinese companies. or Chinese oligarchs that have a lot of investment in the United States, okay, they can't even bring themselves to vote to stop insider trading. They all know that it's against the law, but they can't bring themselves to bring in stricter, letting out their voting records. Okay, this is why we can't get rail through the federal system. It's not going to happen. It's only going to happen like Brightline. It's going to happen through private and public cooperation, through just small states, okay, with also the local government and local people helping out, okay? That's what you get in a cooperative, integralist sort of environment. That can happen, okay? It's the United States, and I said this before. The map, let's bring up that map again, okay? Rail, U.S. map, there we go. Let's bring up Andy's map over here, because... Oh, Alfred's map. There we are. This is not going to happen. I'm sorry, guys, but that's never, ever going to happen. Okay? Not with this government. Not with the way our government runs. It's not going to happen. Okay? Why? Because they're not following the constituents' will. Okay? And if they're not following, they're not doing what's in America's interest, can you even call our politicians Americans? Okay? They're effectively not American. Okay? And I've said this before. Pax Americana and the age of Pax Americana is over. It's over for a reason, because we've put in too much effort in worrying about everybody else's problems all over the world and haven't focused on our own problems. Our infrastructure has crumbled. It is not crumbling. It has crumbled. Okay? Let's take a look at what's... Let's put this on for a little bit so you can see what our government is planning now for all of us here. Accelerating clean transportation, okay? So I hope you guys can see that, because on the other side of the screen, you just have a guy going ahead and playing shadow puppets. Yeah, I know, he's doing stuff for the... You know what? We have closed captions, okay? You don't have to take up half the screen to play shadow puppets, all right? And look at this. You got bus, truck, bus. What's missing? Oh, train. Train is missing. So here's
Please welcome the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
You guys hear that? There we
Transportation
are.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg, EPA Administrator Michael Regan, FDA Administrator Nuria Fernandez, and DC Circulator Electric Bus.
Oh, I have it on 2x speed. Sorry. Yeah, I was listening to it. That's why.
St. Furman.
Because I'm nuts and I have to listen to everything at double the speed. But let's listen. Now notice, Electric Joe is not there, unfortunately. I'm not going to call him Amtrak Joe anymore, because he's effectively Electric Joe, okay? He's pushing for... and here's the other thing of the State of the Union speech. I'm not going to get to the State of the Union speech, okay? I was going to mention it. I thought about it last week, and I said, you know what? He hasn't effectively said anything, okay? He's mentioned electric cars for the proud people of Iranians, and other stuff, right? So he's completely off. I mean, if you look at older speeches of Biden, like stuff in the 90s, he was there. I mean, he was there. He's not there. Okay, he's not going to absolutely change Amtrak and make Amtrak what Amtrak should have been. That's not happening. So the next guy in line to hopefully do that may be Pete, because there's a lot of talk in the grapevine about Pete and Kamala probably being the next duo for president and VP. That's something that could be a possibility. They've been pushing it because Pete Buttigieg has been showing himself more in the spotlight. So as that happens, it looks like he's going to be a more important figure within the administration. So what is their plan? Let's talk. Transit is so important, right, guys?
Good morning. Thank you all for joining, to leaders from Congress, from labor, from the environmental movement, all of those who are gathered here. Thank you for what you did to make this day possible. And I especially want to thank Vice President Harris for her leadership on so many of our country's most pressing challenges, including the intersection between transportation and climate. I'm delighted by the announcement that she will be making today to bring public transit into the future so that people breathe cleaner air and our communities are protected against the climate crisis. In our economy, transportation is the single biggest contributor to climate change and is responsible for over 55% of nitrogen oxides, dangerous gases that can contribute to asthma and other respiratory diseases.
All right, let's get
But
through
also,
it, okay?
It's even good
Affordable
for
driving,
drivers of
trains,
cars
less pollution.
because it means less congestion and traffic on our roads. And
All right,
transit is
we've talked about this now. He's mentioned transit.
better when it's clean transit with modern
Yes, with modern
buses that
electric
don't pollute at all. We often
buses.
talk about the costs
Let's go that again.
on our roads.
Okay? This is why I have absolutely no confidence in this, okay? And I warned people saying that, oh, Biden was going to fix everything, and I said, no, he's not. Trump didn't fix anything, and neither is this guy, okay? Because this is what they are. They are shills for the automobile, okay? Because remember, it was Biden when he was vice president that gave $50 billion to GM. Does anybody else forget that? And GM still hasn't paid it back, okay? You guys forget that. And what do they give to Amtrak? 12 billion. You know, they gave it to GM. GM didn't pay it back. Amtrak was given a paltry sum, and they said, "Here, you better make money." They didn't give any contract to that for GM. GM has been losing money, so you know. But hey, you know they're gonna make $100,000 electric Hummers for the average American. You know, we've mentioned this before when it comes to the electric car versus trains, okay? It does not work, okay? Well, electric cars electric cars are great. They're fun, whatever. But the problem is this. The average American cannot afford an electric car, okay? $35,000 or $30,000 is still out of the reach of 99% of Americans, okay? Most Americans, let's be even more, 95% of Americans, okay? Now, unless they go into a tremendous amount of debt, which a lot of people do to go ahead and finance an automobile in this country, it's a complete racket. But that's what we've done for our citizens. We've put them in the debt crisis. We put them in debt because we don't. Our leaders don't feel like going ahead and actually making infrastructure because selling them cars makes them a lot more money. That's the problem. Okay, it is not for industrial infrastructural wealth. For people, it's wealth for basically our own oligarchs, right? That's the issue. I mean, look at this. I mean, it used to be a country, okay? America could have done whatever the heck it wanted to, okay? It was so immensely powerful that it could do whatever the hell it wanted, okay? If when we used to be great, we could have told Russia to stop, and that would have been it, right? But that hasn't happened, okay? We're a country with no leadership, no outright vision, and absolutely no unity right now. Okay, so what's the issue? We got to start getting involved. Okay, we need to start getting involved. Okay, start paying attention. Okay, pay attention to what's going on in the rest of the world, and pay attention to what's going on in here. Okay, because it's sooner or later this corrupt generation is mostly it's going to weaken its grip on the wheel. Okay, and when I say look, 70% of the politicians here in this country are boomers. Okay, not the guys in these pictures. Okay, because these are just kind of puppets. All right. The guy at the head, Biden, is not even running anything, but he's a boomer, and 70% of Congress, I believe I remember reading, is part of the boomer generation. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Okay, because people are going to complain about it. Whatever. I'm going to go. I'm going to rip into every generation here. All right. So let's get into it. Okay. So yeah, look at who's the president right now. Okay, we have no energy. No dynamism, no future from him. Okay, he's a walking corpse that can't let go of the wheel. He cannot let go. Look at how hard it has been for things to get Brightline. Okay, because even now we're talking about this with Brightline. What more can Brightline or local government do to prevent drivers' bad decisions? Okay, everything is Brightline's fault, right? Everything is Brightline's fault. Not. What can Brightline or local government do to prevent drivers' bad decisions? Okay, the answer is less cars, but we're not going to get into that, right? Okay, look at how hard it's been to get things like Texas Central Railway. We still haven't heard. The reason why there's no Texas Central Railway news is because we're still stuck in legal limbo because the Texas Supreme Court has not given a decision yet on whether Texas Central Railway is a railroad. Do you understand what's going on here, guys? Okay? It has not been easy. Okay? Brightline could have had a much easier way. You know, thank goodness we've gotten this going. Thank goodness they've been able to get to Orlando. Okay? But it's been a lot harder than it should have been. Brightline could have been completely done, as they said before, and the whole thing could have been completed in 2017. Like they said before, they were going to start in 2015, and they were going to be finished to Orlando in 2017. Okay? Because of what happened in the Treasure Coast, and yes, most of the opponents there were of the age they were born between 1945 and 1965. I've seen it with my own eyes. They were all there. There was not one person under the age of 40 in the opponents for against Brightline. Okay? Nobody there was young against Brightline. Nobody. Okay? Now, it's the same thing, right? We're going to have to fight off that grip, okay? Because, unfortunately, they're not handing it down, okay? Remember the George Carlin skit about baby boomers? Let me see if I can bring that up. And you know, again, I keep banging on them, but you know, I don't really see much happening. You know, yeah, there's a couple of good ones, but when I talk about the generation as a whole. Okay, just like not every millennial is a liberal, pink-haired sissy or whatever. You know, I certainly don't fit that regard. Okay, but again, it's the same sort of thing. Let me see, where is that? Let's have a little bit of fun over here. Here we go. If only he was. Well, then again, he probably would have lost his stuffing if he was alive right now. Oh boy. Here we are.
A lot of these. Hold on a sec. A lot of these cultural crimes I've been complaining about can be blamed on the baby boomers.
Here we are.
Something else I'm a little tired of hearing about. The baby boomers. Whiny, narcissistic, self-indulgent people with a simple philosophy. Give me it, it's mine! Give me that, it's mine!
That is the mentality. give me that, it's mine. They aren't a generation of Cincinnatus, right? They're not going to just go over, do what they need to do, and then hand over power and go back into retirement, okay? If you guys are not familiar with who the Roman general Cincinnatus is, look him up, okay? This is not a generation of Cincinnatus. And I'm not going to continue and coddle them and say, oh, not all boomers, okay? I'm not going to be nice to Zoomers, okay? Who are a bunch of, weak-willed ninnies raised on Minecraft and afraid to touch grass, okay? Who even the Pentagon says they have weak bones. All right, nor millennials who are growing up to be turbo boomers, okay? Because there's a lot of millennials that I've noticed that are growing up to be following the same sort of thing. Except now being turbo boomers, but now they're growing up with malformed, defective brains, with self-diagnosed PTSD, like they're, because they've munched on SSRIs like potato chips, unfortunately. Nor Gen X, okay? Oh, no, not Gen X. Oh, the ones in the middle, you ain't running away from this. A lot of Gen Xers who've been coasting through life like a bunch of NPCs, thinking you're above everybody and above all the fray because you once saw the Grateful Dead on tour and you're still somehow special little rebels who have ironically become sackless, lifeless, middle-aged, middle managers at ABC XYZ Company. Oh, yes, I have seen plenty of you. You've been plenty bosses for me. And oh boy, and I am sick of it. Basically dead weight. Okay, in this country, and probably one of the worst things of American corporatism is middle managers, especially Gen X middle managers, dead weight. Okay, but let's turn this all on its head, right? What created these disasters of American generations that we have become? Okay, why is it that we cannot have? Where is it? Why is it? Where is that map? Let's just leave it on here. Why is it that we can't have good things, right? Why is it? Okay? What has sucked the life out of this country? Okay? Who killed the streetcars? What made an oligopoly of selling automobiles? Who thought it was a great idea to pave over towns, over greenery, and over everything for a ton of what? For broken down highways now? This is what we have as our birthright for the next generation. That's it? Broken down highways with potholes all over the place? To break down the cars we could barely afford? Again, who sold all our factories and manufacturing overseas to make our country a doomed service-based economy? Okay? Because China can produce its own stuff. We can't. we're bottlenecked. We're kneecapped. We can't. Okay, who destroyed our once great cities? Okay, beautiful cities. Let's look at where's that picture of Detroit? Okay. Where is that picture? Okay. And it was the same one on I put on the little dark age of American history, right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can find that before I lose my roll over here. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, man. You know what? I got an idea. I can just go to my own page, to my own channel, and bring it up, and there we go. Because you know why? I'm smart. I knew this was going to happen, and I did not prepare still. But hey, I knew I have a backup plan to the backup plan. There we are. Who destroyed this? It worked. It worked perfectly fine. There we go. We have people walking here. We have trains. Okay, we have streetcars. We have everything over here. Who destroyed all that? Who? What happened? Okay, let's disable this for till sunrise because I just remembered that I had my my red tint up, so everything is looking red to you guys. I apologize. Okay, but yeah, who did this? Okay, are there once great beautiful cities? We had churches in the cities. We had communities, right? Okay, we had religion. People were happier back then. Okay, and no, I don't want to hear it that religion has destroyed. No. Because this country has been the most irreligious it's ever been, and it's ruining our country, okay? I don't want to hear it because you're wrong. You're objectively wrong. I am right. You are wrong. Your opinions are... my opinions are right. There. That's it. And I'm done trying to be nice with people. Like I said, you know, you're going to start crap with me on the club. Fine. I'm going to mute you. I don't care. That's the kind of leadership we need. Done. Okay? Not hampered by bureaucracy or political manners or anything like that, because the results of it have not worked. Okay? We've destroyed American cities, churches, communities. We've turned us into little individualists, little pay pigs, forced to work at crappy, overinflated wages. We can't even afford to get to work now in the crappy automobiles they sold us because the gas just keeps going up and up. We just follow the leaders like rats to a Pied Piper driving a stinky diesel bus. Well, at least the bus now is going to be electric. Okay, enjoy it, peons, because the bus will be electric now. Okay, and the electricity comes from coal, by the way, most of it. All right, so we left. Let's keep on this analogy. Okay, we left what was once our beautiful train on that shiny railroad and what our country was, not because the bus was shinier, because the bus wasn't shinier. Okay, it was because the bus driver sabotaged the railroad, threw a wrench in the locomotive. And then said hop on board to said analogous bus. Okay? Seatbelts, everybody! Because this is not going to be a normal field trip. This is what we've done to this country. And when I mean we, I mean our leaders. We, as people, can be able to do stuff. Okay? We have an opportunity to change this country now. Okay? So, let's get there. Alright? This is what it is. Alright. Yeah, what happened when Ford made more Model Ts? Yeah, this is exactly, Hook. Where's the picture? Where is it? You know, this was at the height of Model T production. Okay, the Model T is still one of the most produced cars in the world. All over the place, people are still walking. You know. And again, I don't want to hear, oh, but people back then, you know, they lost their limbs and stuff in factories. Okay, Upton Sinclair lied. All right, I'm sorry to let you know, your teacher lied to you. Upton Sinclair was basically a communist who went ahead and lied. Okay, sorry, that's the truth. All right, people are walking around. Everybody's fine. Everybody's dressed nice. There's communities. There's walkable cities. There are, you know, people who still live in rural areas. There's still a lot of greenery around. Okay? Right outside the city, there's still a lot of greenery. There's still a lot of our own production. We're not forced to go ahead and sanction another country and then, you know, have our gas effectively double. That doesn't happen. That didn't happen. Okay? That is what has happened. All right? Speaking of, I don't wonder what were the books that were given in the Model Ts, but anyway. Anyway, yeah, my inner city scum suburban Karens. Yeah, so, and that's the thing. You look at what the suburbs have done to America, and it's been some of the worst things that have happened, right? It's made people insular, individualist, insecure. It's made them obese. It's made them just slow-thinking laggards, okay? Because unfortunately, because I have my grass, okay? Grass is overrated. Grass is, when people had their own plots, okay, we were far more self-sustaining. We were far healthier, okay? And Liberty Gardens. Remember the Liberty Gardens? Here we are. If you guys don't remember, it was your patriotic duty to go ahead and grow your own food. Where is that? Man, I should have prepared more for this, but I've just gone off on a tangent. Here we are. Here we are. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, here we are. Okay. So let's go ahead and just put all this, because it seems like we have a whole thing here. I had to search it up on Google. Because, yeah, I use DuckDuckGo, but unfortunately Google is still the better search engine. There you are. Dig for victory. Grow your own vegetables. If you'll load. Oh, come on. There you are. Grow your own vegetables is for victory, right? That's, that was America. That was America. Okay? Where is it? Where else can we see? There we are. Sow the seeds of victory. Plant and raise your own vegetables. Okay? This is at the time that America had a massive railroad network and we had large cities. Uncle Sam says guarding to cut food costs. Okay? This happened in World War I. This happened in World War II. Will it probably happen again? No, because people are weak, and they'll probably the government will probably get rid of seeds just to screw with us, and because seeds are going to get more expensive and everything else too. But yeah, all right, yeah. I'm glad you still have that feeling in you still. Oh yeah. I've said it. I am not going to hold back. And it's kind of the reason why I haven't put any, gotten any advertisers or stuff like that. Imagine if I do a video on Ukraine and then, like, in the middle of it, sponsored by World of Tanks. Speaking of, where's that meme? The one of, I gotta find that one. The one with Putin going ahead and saying, because our economy has been, or is it that is like our Russian economy is now sponsored by not Clash of Clans, the other one. Shoot, I gotta find that one. But yeah, guys, it's just been a mess. Well, we'll find it later. All right, you know what? I'm gonna open it up for people in the chat. Let's go ahead. Anybody who's in the Discord stream, put your hands up in the air tonight. Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, that one. I don't play any mobile games, man. I mean, the only thing that I've played in the last... I haven't even touched my PlayStation in the last 6 months. Because it was something that I played only with Holly there. I've made it a rule for me in the last 2 years to not play video games unless you play with somebody else. And oh boy, it makes video games so much more fun when you're not playing by yourself. Okay? When you're playing with a friend online or with somebody next to you. Okay? Then video games are fun. Okay? That just make that a rule, and trust me, you guys are going to be better. But games on mobile devices are like, trash. Especially since phones have gotten more powerful. Like, I remember when Androids first came out, and people were making emulator games and stuff like that. I mean, there was the PlayStation Play phone that they had, the Xperia Play, and there was like basically full-on like games on there and stuff like that. Now mobile games are just cash grabs. It's pretty sad. Okay, let's look at the super chats first. Okay, I'm sorry because I've just gone off. Have you not seen Not Just Bikes video from days ago? Yeah, I've seen that, and again, I do think that suburbans are an issue. They're not natural ways of building cities. Okay, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more because I need to make a whole video. let's go ahead and just show all the comments over here. Again, I don't care if you guys are pro Russia or pro Ukraine. I am pro neither. Okay. Because I'm pro for the normal, average, everyday Ivan who lives in Ukraine and the one in Russia too. Okay, those are the people who need support. Akbar Ali, can they put a people mover into the Las Vegas Convention Center Hyperloop tunnel? Also, God bless NATO and the. Okay, well, I'm not going to go into that. NATO has done a lot of. I think we're being punished because of NATO. I don't know, but anyway. But regardless, can they put a people mover into the Las Vegas Convention Center Hyperloop? That would be probably a better deal. If you guys have seen the videos of Elon Musk's little Tesla tunnel, because that's what it is. It's a Tesla tunnel. All right, it gets backed up far worse than traffic. It's so stupid. All right, so David Mitchell's in the audience. He put his hand up first. All right, David Mitchell is again. 5 minutes for everybody. All right? 5 minutes for everybody. Okay? You've been invited to speak. Come on aboard. And I'm gonna put my stopwatch over here.
Hey, Demo.
How's it going, David?
Doing good. My wife's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
In the room right now. All
right, really quick. I'll say happy birthday to her, okay?
Well, he said happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But the president that began the downfall was Eisenhower.
I think it goes more than that, but Eisenhower was definitely a big deal to that, yeah. And I think he regretted a lot of choices, too, because his ending speech talking about the military-industrial complex was very telling about where we're at right now. I hope you've invested in Raytheon stocks, by the way.
I can't invest. I'm on disability, man.
I know, but anyway. All right. But anything you want to say about what's going on?
Well, I got some interesting news. Siemens with their locomotive, and I found out something that proved how shitty the airline. Oh, sorry, Demo. It's because, but I just found out how crappy the airlines are willing to go to top rail in the country.
All right.
Siemens?
Yeah.
United Airlines and a couple other airlines actually sued Siemens, tried to sue them, and blackmail them.
Let me look this up. Do you have a link to that?
No, found out from a friend who worked for Siemens.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't have to have a link, It's like, I guess the chat sources, I made it up. But, anyway. A lot of stuff. You can't trust the media anymore, honestly, half the time. But
yeah.
I believe that. Is it something that the airlines do all the time? Absolutely. So, is it plausible? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish we had some sort of evidence of something pointing to that.
Now, Siemens, they're actually working on a dual-mode electric locomotive, a long-distance one.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, a diesel-electric bi-power mode. Yeah, locomotive.
Yeah, it can transfer, like, you don't have to do that train swapping in Northeast Corridor anymore.
Yep, it just turns off the diesel engine, and then up comes the cantilever for electricity, the pantograph, and there you go.
Ironically, I'll be seeing those trains on the A-line once they get them all up and running, because they'll be on the Palmetto, the Silver Star. A lot of the trains that come through my area that are Amtrak.
Okay.
But also, they are actually making a freight locomotive too.
Yeah. Now, I do see something here about United Airlines. United Airlines announces alliance for sustainable jet fuel made from politicians and journalists. I'm sorry, I mean trash. So that's what they're doing. The Eco Skies Alliance includes global firms like Nike and Siemens. Which, by the way, Siemens does a lot of stuff in a whole bunch of other tech. They're not just a railroad company by far. Everybody knows that. But, hey, those Germans, man, you gotta hand it to them.
Hey, well, you can't blame my ancestors, They are my ancestor, man. my grandma German. But it's crazy. But also, let me get back to what I'm saying. I say Eisenhower is one of my most hated president, and he is where did downfall out. We really kicked up.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I know a lot of people like to talk about the 1950s as it was such a fantastic time, and I was definitely somebody who really loved the 50s for that too. I mean, I don't know how many times me and Ollie cosplayed that we were still in the 50s and stuff like that. I mean, we would have just stuff like I would get home and it would be like an episode from I Love Lucy, okay? And that helps because I'm Cuban, right? But anyway, the thing is just, when you really look at the 1950s, it was kind of the start of the decline in a sense, because that's where a lot of things got set up to really start decline, Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, why the baby boomers are kind of the way they are is because the greatest generation kind of spoiled them. That was kind of the peak of American civilization there, and this is the start of the decline. You can kind of see that.
Yeah, and you could tell it slowly started in the 60s, too, when we started getting the muscle car crap.
Oh, yeah, well, the 60s was hard. I mean, I love the muscle cars, but it's kind of sick when you get into, because, I mean, like, I used to go to a lot of car auctions with Holly just because it was fun. I mean, could we afford anything? We were just poor millennials. But to see, a guy who was 70 years old or 60 years old or something like that, who was able to buy a Chevy Camaro SS, in 1969 on his own dime when he was 18, to now go ahead and now buy not only an older Camaro, but go ahead and buy like a 2021, Chevy Camaro SS ZL1, it's kind of it kind of just shows how much of a divide in just monetary power these generations have.
And the boomers, they're just straight up greedy and selfish.
Yeah, again, and the same thing, millennials are becoming turbo boomers because instead of cars, it's becoming these little devices now, or the next video, or the next social justice campaign, or changing your profile picture to wheat grain yellow and blue sky. That doesn't do anything. But yeah,
I know, but
anyway,
see,
last word, David, because we're over time.
Well, I hope one day our country do come back from this, and I hope we do get through it. Because, like I said, everything is going to get worse before it get better. I was the first one to say that in one of your older live streams.
Yeah, you said it too. But
I was the first one who said it.
Our country will be back, but not in the same way it's been before. Okay, and I've said that we're not gonna probably stand united as some states, but at least the American area of what is America, because it's still America. It's still the same continent. Okay, it's still the same land. Okay, at least America at some point will be, shall we say, great again at some point. And again, that's a Make America Railroads Great Again cap, guys. It's not a MAGA cap, all right? It's not a MAGA cap.
But yeah, I have to agree with you, man, because stuff is going to get worse before it gets better.
It will. All right, man. David, I got to let you off. Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Later, man. Have a good night.
You too. And again, another apology for not getting these caps out, because it was a whole lot of mess going on, and I was in charge of it, and then Holly wanted to be in charge of it, and I said, no, I gotta do everything myself. I can't let anybody have my own things, which was a terrible mistake, and I still have that. But yeah, she was absolutely right. I should have delegated more. But yeah, these are made in the USA, guys. Not that the actual, official Trump caps were made in the U.S. Of course, there was a lot of knockoffs that were made in China, of course, but that's the way it is. Okay, let's see who's next over here. And please raise your hand in the comments, okay? And by raising your hand, I don't mean raising your hand like the Azov Battalion. I mean raising your hand in the audience below. Go ahead, and if you want to come up on stage, All right, if you guys got that joke, give yourself a pat on the back, okay? Because you at least know a little bit more of what's going on. All right, so I can't see the whole name over here, but Experimental Internet Gas. You have been invited to speak. Welcome aboard. Okay, remember 5 minutes when you start talking. And so we start the clock.
Hello. I wanted to say thank you for offering me a little bit of space on your platform.
Of course.
And I would like to offer 2 things. First, a pallid philosophical defense of car culture and the knock-on effects of what it has done in America. You are not wrong to harp on the auto industry for building an oligarchy. I do think the American people signed the check, though.
You have a point.
There are unique just business opportunities that come about from an individual owning a car that I don't think would have popped up in other cases. I think you can draw a clear line from the automobile to the first Macintosh in Wozniak's garage. Just as a means of promulgating car culture as just a subset of engineering and a knowledge base. It was something I had with my dad, and I actually watched him fall out of car culture as cars computerized and advanced and became mechanical. Like they just put themselves behind a wall, so to speak, which is part of the problem. But I don't want to get too far into the weeds here. The other point I wanted to bring up is the nightmare to come that how many cars were produced in China last year?
I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a crap ton.
21 million.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Car culture and the world gasoline addiction isn't going to just stop with America fixing its problems. In fact, I think if we do it wrong, we'll make it worse.
Yeah. No, I agree with that in that sense. And again, I'm a guy who's grown up with car culture. I originally went to college to become a mechanical engineer to design cars. And it's the way that we've done it has been the wrong sort of way. And I do agree with you in the sense that, yes, the American people did sign the check, and it was a very enticing check the way that it was signed. But the terms were not really read by the American people, and there was a lot of hidden background into all that of everything that happened. But I do agree with that. China is really building itself, and I've mentioned this a couple of times. China is really going straight into the same sort of direction where they're just building, the biggest electric car market is over in China, by the way, but they're building a whole lot of ways over there in order to go ahead and kind of build themselves in the same sort of trap, including suburbs and just building cities out of nowhere. Like, I think everybody knows about that one-for-one copy of Central Paris that's just in the middle of China for no reason at all whatsoever.
Right. They've got the space and the money to make status symbols, but they've got rocky financial ground that they're built on. And it's not like Xi Jinping is a monolith. He has his own resistors, but obviously we're not going to hear those details in depth. From what I understand, he is a person built out of the security structures of China, whereas the army structures in China, the other political force, don't care for him and his methods. That his grasp upon that country is not as rock solid as everyone seems.
Yeah, and that's been something there for a long time. I mean, when Xi Jinping took power, was it 2012 or 2013? I mean, he ousted a lot of political opponents within the CCP. For the same reasons that there's a lot of dissension within that political party in itself, and B, he really wanted to go ahead and transform China into an actual real world power instead of just the manufacturing house of the entire world. And he's effectively done that. But not, I would say internally, yes, you're right. It's not to the extent that everybody thinks they are, but we're definitely underestimating them And that's we're going to see that happen. They will go into Taiwan at some point. They probably will take Taiwan because the United States is weak at this point, just like Russia will probably take Ukraine. That's kind of inevitable. But we're in terms of just, as you said, in terms of infrastructure, China does have a lot of internal issues with that as well. Are they going to be a heck of a lot better off than America's infrastructure? Absolutely, because a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because they already have a massive railway network. They have a lot of other back ends and everything else in between. So there's no way we're going to be able to compete with something like that if both our countries were to go down the tubes.
Well, they embrace widely everything from trolley cars to motorbikes to rickshaws.
Yeah, and that's sort of our issue, is that we've only embraced one major mode of transportation. They've embraced the whole gamut.
But yeah, that was all. I appreciate the room, and keep kicking ass.
No, absolutely, thank you, and I appreciate you coming over here and sharing knowledge. This is what we're all about, man.
Okay, you take it easy.
You too. Take care. Alrighty. So, let's see who else has their hand up. We have Chicago Rail Fan. Okay, I can only read that because I can only read a little bit of the vodka runes there, man. But you've kind of changed it up. This is giving me back my power to read on Ruski. But hey, come on up, man. Or Ukrainian. They're kind of more or less kind of the same thing. It's like saying the difference between Spanish and Portuguese, although they're not kind of the same. Which most people can't really tell the difference because most people don't know the languages anyway. I'm not one to say anything, but when anybody goes ahead and says, gives you an article or something like that and say, oh, look what X side is doing, they don't know what the heck is going on, honestly. All right, Chicago Rail Fan, I invited you to speak. There we are. Now it's working.
Good evening.
Good evening, man. How's it going?
Tired. Woke up not long ago.
I know that feeling.
Because, I drive around my car around here and I see gas is $4.39 and I'm like, what did we do?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it really worth it now to do all what would be done?
I gotta drive all the way out to like Joliet or something to see gas that's below $4.
Yeah, no, it's insane, man, and it's not too well over here in Hoosierville. We've just passed $4 for regular gas, although I'm far beyond that, but because I'm only using premium gas. And anyway, how's it going? Anything you want to add in?
Not really. I haven't really been paying attention too much to rail. We kind of are heading to like a time where it's just, I don't know, Doomerville.
Yeah, I know that you can't let yourself go full doomer, man. I mean, hey, look at everything that's gone on into my life. All right, the love of my life has passed on and died. I'm kind of stuck here, but we all have a purpose in a sense, and we're all it's the reason why I still believe in God, right? We all have something to do here, whether it's something small or something big. So we can't just go ahead and just give up on everything, right? We still got to keep moving forward somehow. So just keep hanging in there, man. And the reason why all these things happen is it's to make us stronger. We're not the world is not going to be a happy sunshine place, and that's very much a lie and sort of a post-God world and what we called in this postmodern world that we can build utopia here. And that's something that has really killed the human spirit because it leads us to believe that we've reached the peak. This is the end of history. We don't have to believe in anything anymore. We still got a lot of stuff to do, man. And things are it's been a giant wake up call this last decade. And yeah, it's gonna chafe a lot of weeds, man. But eventually, stronger. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and we're gonna be stronger for it.
I'm still wondering if I should go to college or not. I'm still at that age where, I could either decide whether to go or not.
Well, what are you thinking of doing?
Engineering.
Okay.
More specifically, civil engineering. So it's not like I'm gonna be going in there like some other major, which is probably not gonna be worth it. At least this one, I may have a chance of getting a decent job afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, if you can go to, let's say, a community college or something like that while you're interning with a company or something like that, because don't pay for it and don't get it for any loans. If you're going to do it, if you're going to go to college, it doesn't matter which college you go to, honestly. Okay, I've worked at Fortune 500 companies going to Florida International University and Fortune 100 companies. Okay, so you don't need to go to Harvard, you don't need to go to any Ivy League college. Okay, community college, you're perfectly fine and good off like that. But just really think: is it something that you really needed to get a degree for, or is it better to try to get connections within the industry you're trying to go to and try to work your way up there? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's far more about who you know than what you know. Far more. Every single time, who you know is going to trump what you know. And I know people say, oh, it's nepotism and whatnot, but that's kind of the way it is.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been getting a lot of money offered to me. And it's not like the loans where you have to pay it back later.
The grants and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, usually. When I see that, I'm like, okay, at least I'm not going to be in debt while doing this.
Yeah, and again, the grants are not the only reason why I'm going into this is because I care for you, man, and I know there's other people in the chat and everything else probably looking for some sort of the same sort of advice. The grants are not going to be something that you can rely on, because I got grants and everything my first year of college, and I basically got paid to go to college because of my grades and everything else, and etc. The problem was that the next year afterwards, I did the FAFSA, and they said, your dad made too much money last year. He has enough to go ahead and pay for 13 kids to go to college. So we're taking away your grants, because that was actually need-based and academic-based, by the way. Your academics don't trump your needs. And yeah, everybody in Miami is Hispanic, so you're kind of on the light-skinned end of Hispanic. So you're not really special, and you were born in the United States. So yeah, we'll take away those grants away from you. So that's kind of what happened to me. So you gotta be really careful with that, man. The grants are enticing, but they're not, and again, it used to be like, let's say in the state of Florida, you used to get what they call Bright Futures, which is basically the state scholarship, funded on by the Florida lottery. Ironic that, gambling away to help our children's futures. But anyway, what used to cover, like back in the late 90s to early 2000s, it used to cover all of college. And Holly went around that time, and she said, oh, well, I got through with Bright Futures. I'm like, yeah, well, I went later to college, and it basically paid for maybe 30% of it for each semester, and I had to pay the rest of the way through. Yeah, second year of college, I had to pay my own way through, and it was exhausting to be working, almost 2 or 3 jobs sometimes in the summer at the same time, and do all that. But, it's kind of the way it is now. So you really got to think about what it is you want to do. Is college the only way to go about it? That's the thing. I would honestly say against college, but it's honestly your decision, man. Just you got to look at all the other decisions.
Thanks. Also, I think in terms of real stuff, I think here in Chicago, I think they completed the Red Purple modernization plan. There's a
cool
bypass. Yeah, I think it's where one of the lines they split off, and so you have to cross the whole section of tracks, which kind of blocks the other trains from passing by. So I think it's like a flyover.
Yeah.
Which are useful in Chicago because there's a lot of intersections.
Yeah, and that's that's something that needs to be done. Like we mentioned the last time in Chicago, if they can focus on just getting the scheduling right, that will be a massive change, and they don't even have to put that much investment into it. Of course, it's Chicago. It's the reason why it's called the Windy City. It's not because of the weather. It's because of the politicians. It's going to be a major issue getting that done. But can it happen? It can. I mean, they got the L done at some point. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
even then, I mean, hey, even crooked politicians back then could do a heck of a lot more than crooked politicians today. That's kind of saying something.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say the Windy City for the weather as well, because it was literally almost 70 degrees on Saturday, and then Monday there's snow.
Yeah.
What? where else do you go from that?
Yeah, the weather's been kind of weird the last couple of days, but you know, hey, I can't complain. At least I'm not up in Chicago, so I'm just hanging around here in Indy and in Naptown, and I'm just chilling. But anyway, man, anything else you want to add in? Last word?
Not really.
All right, I appreciate you coming on, man. Okay, God bless, and you'll get there. Okay, just think of the options. Okay, and just. Don't look 2 years from now. Look 10, even though, things are kind of crazy right now, but at least look 10 years from now, kind of what you want to do. I'm nowhere where I thought I was going to be in 10 years, but at least I kind of still have a sort of compass direction where I'm going at, even though that compass is going all the way like this.
Hey, man. Good night.
All right. Good night. Take care, man. Okay. So I think that is everyone in the audience here. All right. Let's go ahead and check the live stream real quick in the comment section. Oh, man. We're talking about NASCAR over here? What is GM good at besides making cars? Destroying infrastructure, destroying rail cars. Oh, man. I mean, the Corvette was a nice deal, fortunately. We went to the Corvette Museum, and it seems GM has a penchant for destroying nice things. They destroyed all the 1983 C4 first batch of Corvettes, and only one was saved, which was the only one there in the museum. Someone has been watching China Uncensored. I've been watching China Uncensored since it started back in 2012, 2013. And I know they're kind of funded by the Taiwanese government, but hey, I like to get my news from everywhere. The auto culture has been existing with us for 100 years. Yeah, but again, it's like what Experimental Internet Gas said, right? There's and like what we talked about, there's a way of doing it right and naturally like it was before, and there's a way where it's gone full to one end and to one extreme where we are heavily reliant on the automobile and we don't have another outlet to really move people or equipment or goods and stuff like that. Oh man. But anyway, let's go into some of the stuff over here. Now let's talk about Brightline. So they finally went ahead and completed their negotiations on the Interstate 4 axis for the Tampa-Orlando route. Okay, and like I said, they went on the same way that they were going to go through. Okay, so it will be along I-4, but Brightline also needs the right-of-way permission from the Central Florida Expressway Authority for another portion of the route. The part closer to Orlando has been a topic of controversy, as one study indicated using SR 528 would be cheaper than Brightline, according to one Orlando Business Journal. And Brightline prefers operating along SR 417, according to a coalition group of Orlando's Right Rail. That route would disrupt residential communities. Nonetheless, negotiations for SR 475, State Road 417 axis have progressed and are pending the outcome of the National Environmental Policy Act and a supplemental environmental impact statement. Right? So they got one step, but now they got to do this all over again. Another EIS, another National Environmental Policy Act. Okay, this is the problem why I keep saying every time when you have the federal government come in, the state government was perfectly fine with that. They got it, they were done, they were set. The minute we have to go ahead and introduce more federal red tape is when problems start coming in, right? Because now you got this to go through. Okay, which again, it's not all the same, because even in Texas, they're still having to deal with the red tape of the state, but they still have some federal red tape they still have to go through. It's going to be more environmental impact studies before it gets done. I mean, at least they got one done. So the deadline for the right-of-way agreement had been extended multiple times. We talked about this, especially back in March 2020. Yeah, and the station location has not been announced, but Ybor City is regarded as a likely candidate. Now, I went to both areas in Tampa, and I showed you that. It was the last time that me and Holly went to Tampa. I drove around and showed everybody, if you go to the Tampa video, about where both locations they were they would be. The reason why, again, they're not using the Amtrak station is because A, Brightline wants to be able to have control over their own station. B, the Tampa station is owned by Amtrak and I think the Tampa Union Station Society and all this stuff. So there's a whole lot of stuff to do with that, and there's going to be a whole lot of interaction that's going to really mess with how Brightline operates their trains. Okay, because cooperating with Amtrak, even in a Union Station, is going to be a complete pain for Brightline. Because, and again, I've spoken to Brightline. They say they don't want anything to really do with Amtrak because they want to make their own service that really shows the way that we can actually run trains in this country, rather than how Amtrak has kind of failed to do it in the last 50 years. It's just kind of existed, but it's a moot point. We've talked about it before. It doesn't have to be further looked into. All right, so we had another car hit by that got in front of a train. So this is in Oakland Park. The driver is lucky to be alive in the area of Oakland Park and Dixie Highway. Few details were immediately available from authorities, but the Broward Sheriff's Office said the driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, according to an agency spokeswoman. Sunday's crash occurred on the tracks near the intersection of Dixie Highway and Northeast 34th Court, about 4 blocks north of Oakland Park Boulevard. Okay? So photos from a witness turned Good Samaritan show a white sedan smashed on the side of the train tracks. I mean, why people go ahead and take pictures and then help people? I don't know. I guess at least he helped the person, because half the time people will go ahead, take a picture, put it on TikTok and, put some sort of weird song in front of it, and some sort of Zoomer speak meme of, somebody got smashed or something like that, They'll say, like, no cut FR, why'd you try to pass, something like that. I don't know. With the Zoomer haircut. Photos from so Amber Carter said she witnessed the crash, was driving nearby when she saw the impact. She wasn't sure if the driver went around the gates or tried to cross the tracks as they were going down, but she said the gates were down when she arrived at the car to help the driver. And that's the thing. So Cartier described the driver as in his mid-50s and said he's lucky to be alive. Okay? The back end of this car is completely unrecognizable, and that's the car. Again, we've discussed this plenty of times before. Car versus train, not good. Not going to end well. Okay? It's like putting in an anemic, 90-pound guy against George Foreman in his prime. It doesn't end well. Not at all. So yeah, this is the issue. Okay. Now, federal officials recently announced they started looking into how to reduce crashes with trains that can travel between 81 and 125 miles an hour in South Florida. Oh boy! So here we talked about the federal government, right, guys? Because now they're gonna get into this. Now, you know what they could have done? Maybe not put so many crossings behind here. Because let's look at this now. See if we can open this up here. Oh, view larger map. I'd like to view the larger map, please. I'm not a robot. Bicycles. I mean, it's technically a bicycle tire. I don't know. Maybe that could be a unicycle that's about falling over. How am I supposed to know? Really, CAPTCHA? Really? That's not a bicycle. I'm helping your war AI figure out, bicycles and stuff like that. You know that Google is using CAPTCHAs for AI and stuff like that, right? They're just training AI. I'm not sure if they're training Terminators and stuff like that, but that's kind of one theory. I mean, look at this. Let's go within here 500 feet, 1,000 feet. Let's go with just between one major intersection and one major intersection, right? So here's Northeast 38th Street, right? That's one major intersection. And here's East Oakland Park. So in between those two major intersections, we have one. We have two. Okay, we have two crossings, and that's not the worst that I've seen it. Okay, you can see over here that there used to be sort of a crossing over here, and then a stop. This is the sort of things that has to happen. Close the crossings. Just close them. Just close them. And look, they have there's a sidewalk over here. So there you go. Isn't that nice? Isn't that pretty? If you can do stuff like that, there you go. And you have on-street parking. You have sidewalks. You have some that'll be nice to do. Of course, this guy crossed the gates. He wasn't paying attention. Here's where the accident happened. You can kind of see this exact same as the picture from before. right up here. There's that same building, right there. Okay. There's the gates. Okay, you can't miss that. There's enough there to tell you that's a railroad crossing. Okay, don't cross. That's not good. There's lights. It says stop here on red. It goes red. It ding 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 ding. This comes down. This flashes. This says stop. No turn on red. There are cameras there. They're watching you. Okay? Do not stop on tracks. Okay? How much more does it need to say? How much more does it need to say? It doesn't. They've done everything they could in their power. Okay? Start closing. Close the gates. Close them. Just close them. That's it. There's no need for them to be, cars to be going over through all this. They're going slow enough over here. Just close them. Make this into a roundabout, and there you go. Now you have, people just go roundabout over there, and that's it. That's what I would do. Okay? But what more can Brightline and local government do to prevent bad driver decisions? Now, as we discussed, who made this possible? Who made it possible that we have so many people that shouldn't be driving in cars? Of course, that was a lot of part on the federal government and on the automobile companies. Okay? But, again, how much and could government and business do to prevent people from making bad decisions? Well, you close the roads. Simple as that. This question arose after a spate of incidents, one last Sunday in Oakland Park, involving Brightline trains. Everyone was the fault of a car's driver or a pedestrian. None of nearly 60 incidents, 50 of them fatal, since Brightline began task runs 4 years ago, was the fault of the train operator or safety equipment at train crossings. None of them were Brightline's fault. It's a problem for all railway companies, including Tri-Rail, which I know because I was on a Tri-Rail train when it struck somebody who wanted to go ahead and anti-hero themselves. Amtrak and freight operators. According to the Federal Railway Administration, Florida averaged 2.84 incidents per crossing over the last 5 years. Okay, yes, it's higher because you know why? They're actually doing a train that's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, and people have freaked out because there trains still exist in this country. Before considering what can be done, considering what has been done. Okay, so at least this article is a little bit more fair, right? Okay, maybe not all journalists are trash. Sustainable jet fuel made from trash. But anyway, so let's go back to this. There we are. Participants in a meeting that Federal Railway Administrations held 2 weeks ago in Boynton Beach said the government should take further action. The agency recently began inspecting all equipment at crossings. The FEC Railroad is responsible for maintaining gates and lights. Yes, that's their equipment. Okay, they paid for more safety improvements. Okay, on all the grade crossings. They've run a safety campaign in 4 languages. Okay, so you know how much of discord it is in Miami. You don't just have English and Spanish. You have Haitian Creole, and I probably think the other language would probably be not quite sure because there's a whole lot of other languages that are spoken there in Florida. I don't know, maybe Portuguese. I'm not quite sure. There's a whole lot of them. But participants in a meeting that the Federal Railroad Administration (FRA) held 2 weeks ago, Boynton Beach, not the FRA, Federal Railroad, FRA, said the government should take further action. Participants in the meeting. Here's the thing, guys. You got to get to these meetings. Okay, in your local area, I know some of them are held online. Look for them and see. You can do this. Go to these meetings. Okay, there's gonna be 2 or 3 loud, old angry boomers over there that's saying, "Oh, we should cut down Brightline. Brightline shouldn't be here." Okay, like they've been doing before. Okay, go in there and say no. Go in there and say no. All right, bring your friends along. Okay, strength in numbers is a true sort of thing. Okay. All right. When you are weak, make the enemy believe that you are strong. Okay, that's Sun Tzu, Art of War. Very, very similar right there. Okay. All right. Because unfortunately, we're kind of weak as a generation, right? We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of political clout. Okay. That's kind of the thing that we're in. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of millennials now are becoming politicians because they really haven't had access to a lot of monetary power. They're very easily bought off. Okay. And they very easily become grifters. That's another problem of millennial politicians, unfortunately, and that's something that's inherent for the generation as a whole. Okay, that's why I'm kind of saying they're becoming turbo boomers, because the minute that a lot of poor millennials get into mammon, they become nuts. All right, so yeah, that's sort of the thing. So here we go. The Brightline spokesperson, money from federal infrastructure bill. The Brightline spokesman said will pay for safety upgrades at 48 crossings. Not all accidents occur at crossings. A freight train struck and killed a woman in 2016 who had taken a shortcut. Well, she took a shortcut, all right, across the FEC tracks north of Atlantic Avenue crossing in downtown Delray Beach. The city responded by putting up fencing. Good. Similarly, Brightline has built what the company called channel fencing in 7 locations. Since then, the spokesman said no incidents have been reported. So we can look up channeling fencing, so you guys can kind of see what that sort of looks like. But let's go ahead and continue. Brightline employs police officers. Like I said, the freight railroads have their own... They got their own AMCAP police, so that's kind of the thing there. But so the company's installed cameras at 2 crossings in Miami-Dade. Drivers that go around gates get warnings, even though Brightline can't issue tickets. Wouldn't it be funny if they did? If they it became like sort of like an ANCAP paradise or something like that, and they started sending They started sending like their own SWAT teams to break into homes and stuff like that, and like full like level 4 body plates and stuff like that. But anyway, with safety upgrades were finished, the feds approved quiet zones along the FEC tracks. Trains don't have to sound their horns. Engineers may do so in a potential emergency. Okay, which is the only time they really need to. Though nearly 80 miles an hour, a train needs 3/4 of a mile to stop. Neighbors welcomed quiet zones as a trade-off for the presence of all those new trains. We urge federal officials not to end that respite for so many people because a reckless few won't follow the rules. That's what I've said. Okay, fair. But that raises the tough questions of how far rail companies and governments at all levels should go if some individuals are determined to behave recklessly or worse, end their lives, which is unfortunately going to happen. This happens in Japan too, which the way they do it out in Japan, that if somebody goes ahead and, offs themselves by way of Shinkansen, and here's the thing, because Japan is very much a culture that is very sensitive to how you are perceived by others. It's very much a thing of shame to the family. Shame for the spray to the family, which, now they apologize for what their family member has done, but they also have to pay damages, a portion of damages, because there's a lot of it's a lot of money for a lot of people's stuff. But they pay a percentage to the railroad company and also to the passengers who were affected by it, which Amtrak does. I've never gotten anything back from Tri-Rail. When somebody went ahead and turned themselves into a bloody mess off of Tri-Rail, Tri-Rail didn't give us any tickets. They didn't give us any money back or anything like that. We were just left off at the next station, and everybody was just calling Ubers. That's basically all Tri-Rail did. They didn't give us really anything. Instead, in this country, when it used to be, when people had some sort of honor to them, because America did have honor, it used to be such a big deal that people used to go ahead and duel. Okay, look what happened to Alexander Hamilton. Thank goodness he got shot. Anyway, I'm not a fan of Alexander Hamilton, if you guys haven't noticed. But yeah, you mess with somebody's honor. Maybe you're gonna get a 50 caliber hole in your chest. Okay, I'm not saying start doing that to people who try to go around railroad tracks or stuff like that. But you have to go ahead and start, really going after people. And like I said, you gotta start going ahead and shaming them. That's what works. That's what works. Nobody wants to talk about it because, oh, that's mean. You can't do that. You can't do that. People have feelings. You know what I say about your feelings, all right? Because people are getting hurt, all right? Imagine if you make fun of people who go across railroad tracks and you put that, Brightline starts making a campaign like that on social media sites, on Facebook and stuff like that. And people start to really, they see other people like that one Mini Cooper that went in and got themselves killed, not killed, but they got themselves hurt. If they start showing that, people will start to think, okay? That's when people really start to think, is when they start seeing, monkey see, monkey do. When people start getting hit, that's what happens. Technology can help. Artificial intelligence can warn engineers when someone's on. It's not going to stop. Again, 3/4 of a mile to stop the train. Nearly a mile at some speeds. Around 90 miles an hour. That's what's it going to do? Automatically stop the train? Again. So what I've said over here, not mentioned. Okay. Every other thing around it. To go around sort of the thing. No. Start shaming people. Start shaming people. Start shaming people. All right. If anybody from Brightline is watching, take my idea. Don't tell them that was my idea. Go ahead and make it your own idea and say, hey, what if we start, putting videos on Facebook, in Facebook ads and on Instagram and stuff like that. Because the majority of people who are getting into crashes are kind of low IQ individuals, so they'll hang out in low IQ places like Facebook. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway. All right, so that's why. GN, meanwhile in Japan, the train system is so efficient that a 5-minute late train will get you a late pass for work or school. Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, it's okay for Amtrak to be 5 hours late. That's normal. That's on time. Yes, Darius, we know. You mentioned this multiple times about World War III almost started. It has started. We are in World War III. Okay? If you guys haven't noticed that yet, we are. By the way, has anybody noticed what's going on in a little place called Serbia? that place that we did terrible, nasty, no good things to in the 90s, and that kind of started a world war back in 1914, or helped to really just kind of blow the powder keg. Yeah. Things are not doing well. I told you. Yeah. Well, it's either that or Poland. It's one of those two. One of those two. Because unfortunately, Poland hates both Germany and Russia and will do everything it can against its mommy and daddy. No offense to any of the Poles listening in, but that's kind of the way it's been. We can make fun of everybody over here. I don't care. All right. So there is nobody here in the Discord. I've scared them all off. So you know what that means, guys. We're going to go ahead and start to close off things. So if you guys have anything else you need to say in the comments, go ahead and do it. Last words, last checks. We'll give it about 3 minutes or so. Go ahead. And we'll look through the comments over here and see what else is going on. I'm going to exit and end the stage over here on Discord. No more calls. Let's give a smiley face there. Yes, the calls went well. I heard everything. Can sustainable jet fuel melt steel beams? I don't know. I'm not going to say that name. That's kind of disgusting, man. It's about as disgusting as certain leaders using their genitalia to play coincidental songs. South Florida idiots, yeah. I know. Picture does show a first responder. Yeah, but that was after. That wasn't the picture that they showed, by the way. 4-quadrant. How many more gates do they need to put? That's the thing. You're implying people in South Florida can read. Yeah, that's true. DMV needs to revoke licenses. Honestly, it needs to be the tests to go ahead and drive an automobile need to be a lot stricter, and they can't. They're just being given out. Let's see. Became leader in 2012. Yeah, I was right about that. I think it was 2012. You were brilliant today. Oh, thank you. Call your senators. Call your state senators. Federal law is not going to do anything anymore, guys. Stop wasting time with DC. If you really want to get something done, think local and act local. Local, not loco. Not local. But act local. Act local and think local. So, start looking at meetings that are going on in your area, okay? Look at your state Department of Transportation meetings. Go online. It's simple, okay? Let's see. A couple more questions, then we'll go. State reps, local government officials, as well as the Congress folk. Yeah, state Congress and everything like that. That's what's going to get it done, because you know what? Your state Congress member lives down the street from you, okay? They don't live somewhere in a little mansion in D.C., insulated from the rest of the world, okay? They're not there in Edo to be kept away because the Shogun doesn't want them going ahead and starting wars or, around the country. No. Start calling your state senators, your local officials, because they live in your area, okay? Hence, they have a lot more to lose, in a sense, if you know what I'm getting. They have a lot more invested in your local area. No, don't go. Yeah, people are going loco. This has been a loco decade. Los años locos, man. I tell you. Oversee the Surface Transportation Board. Yeah, but your state's DOT has a lot more play in it. I'm telling you. Alrighty. Okay, guys. Yeah, we'll talk about Hyperloop another time. We're not going to get into Hyperloop. I think it's been enough crazy stuff in this deck. Don't you think, guys? I think it's been enough. Alrighty. Yeah, okay, so we're going to go ahead and end it on there, guys. Yeah, things are getting nuts, but you know what? We're going to be okay, like I said. Okay? Do not go and be a mercenary somewhere, because there's going to be stuff over here. You're going to need to be here, okay? Alright, so you don't need to go ahead and save, where's that one meme? There's this one meme I just like, we'll save the memes. We'll go on Discord if you guys want memes. I'll go ahead and put the Discord link in the chat so you guys can go ahead and join in the chat below. Here you go. There we are. There is the link to our Discord channel. We will talk about politics, alright? I don't care. If you tell me not to talk about politics, you will become into the role of the homeless squatter, which means you cannot say anything. And you'll probably stay like that. I don't care, alright? This is again, we have simple rules on there. Follow them. That's all. Unfortunately, ARC is an American monarchy run by your conductor with a conductor crown. That's what we'll call it. Alright, guys. Stay safe out there. Thank you all for riding. Godspeed. We will see you all next time. Take care.